You're listening to the Unpenned Show with Paul and Andy, broadcasting live around the world. We believe freedom is free. It is enslavement that you're paying for. If you ain't mad by now, you're not paying attention.
So, welcome along to the show then. It is Tuesday, the 2nd of July, 2013. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And we are live on Blog Talk Radio and also broadcasting on Awake Radio as well, our second week of simulcasting. And as far as I can gather, everything is going absolutely just fine.
Good.
So, all is good in the camp. And another 7 degrees of a year have gone by.
They certainly have.
And this, every single degree of a year, we rack them into 7s and we call them a daze. Because it is a daze, isn't it? Round and round we go. Everything's a circle, a cycle. You get up and spring out of bed. You have your lunch when the sun is high in the sky. That's the summertime. You've finished your day. You collect it all in. You go home, shut your door, draw your curtains, and that's the autumn, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And you have your last meal before winter. And then you hibernate and wake up again, and away we go. A year in a day and a day in a year. Welcome to our show. We do this every single Tuesday. It is our little attempt to poke a few people in the eye. Now, I don't think those that claim to be awake are going to get an awful lot from this show in a way that you're going to learn something you didn't know. But what we do try and actually do is say things in different ways that we can use in everyday conversation. Because no matter what plans are set afoot by other hosts and guests and gurus and people we follow, the real truth, but it comes right back to the start, doesn't it? If we don't wake up enough people who know they have to speak out, then everything else will be in vain. Mm-hmm. The future we might want for ourselves and our children and everybody else is at this moment a dream. And we have to bring that dream into reality by stop pretending that it's already available. We have to bring it into reality by speaking it into reality.
That's how it works.
It has to be spoken. A spoke is
spoken
part of a wheel. It's got to be a spoken word. We've got to get the word around. Pass things around, don't we? Mm-hmm. We get enough people. We just have to fall in love with the word no. Mm-hmm. Okay, the word no is just the word no. I don't want to do that. Truth and numbers.
Yeah.
We coined that about 5 or 6 years ago, didn't we? And it's you always come back to the
funny
start,
what
don't
comes
you?
Around, yeah.
Yeah, we always come back to the
world.
Start. As we drill in deeper. Mm-hmm. We always end up back at the start.
Yeah.
But we're deeper in this time.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a drill. We are drilling. In one reality, the below, we're drilling down. And in the next reality, the above, we're trying to climb up.
Yep.
So we're trying to raise ourselves up while drilling down deeper.
Yeah, the holly and the ivy.
As above, so below. It's like the W, isn't it? We look at the letter W.
Excuse me.
Double U. Never once actually double U. So there is 2 of you. A double U. It's 2 U's put together. It also is the sign for woman, isn't it? W starts the word woman. Mm-hmm. And the word water. And the word want and will. But if you put it flip side up, it gives man. Mm-hmm. And mammal. Doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And must and may. Hem. Mm. Equal and opposite, as above, so below. MW, WM. Why do we have WWW? Well, it comes in many levels, that, doesn't it? We've got the World Wide Web, or we could have the wonderful world of water, or we could have the World Wide Wake, because I actually believe that we are participating in our own end. This is the end of humanity as we know it, if we don't recognise that that is the case. Mm-hmm. And is this not the wake that we're actually attending? We're actually going into this ocean, this surfing, and pretending that it's real. Are we not attending our own funeral? Mm. Because is not a funeral a wake?
It's a wake, yeah.
That a period after a funeral is a wake. Mm. And that period after the funeral that is called a wake is a period of mourning. But when you wake up in the morning, it's the morning, isn't it?
And you're awake.
And you're awake. Mm. But what's left behind a boat, that's a wake that we leave behind the boat, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But the people who are part of this, we really know what's going on. Mostly, they claim to be awake. Mm. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean?
You put the two together.
Well, it's all combined, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've realised that you've been left behind in the slipstream. You've realised that this is a period after a death, a living dead, the land of the living dead, the zombie life that you were living.
Yeah.
You've now recognised it as such.
Yeah, you've stopped using your zombie eyes and you've used your real eyes.
Your real eyes. And we've done this before. I can remember after going on a real emotional roller coaster.
Been on a few of them.
And I intend to go on some more. If you can't win, you will learn. But it does feel like it's not reborn, because that sounds a bit biblical. But is there a better way of describing how it feels once you come through what is the maze? Yeah, when you get through it, you do feel that you've been a weight's been lifted off your shoulders. You do feel a little lighter. As for more illuminated, well, that's a question of how you got there.
You've got to work on that one.
I was going to say, as they make our lights dimmer, we're fighting hard to get bloody brighter.
You've got to keep cranking the handle on that one to keep the generator going, to keep the light on.
Yeah, I mean, this is the wonderful world of water, and I actually know it is because, well, even looking at the awake page here, okay, look at the word awake, then look at the W's above it, then look at that little pink fish. And what's above it? Radio Tuna. T-U-N-A. Right? This is a reality for fish. And our masters are the fishers of men. All right? Now, we say fishermen. But no, they're the fishers of men. They're the king fishers. And they pick out the fish that they want. And then they will take those fish and do what they want with them. But we are the fish. If you want to become the man who fishes, the first thing you need is a boat.
Yep.
Well, the first thing you need is to get to the surface.
You do. I'm going to say you need to be a fish out of water.
I was going to say we've got to get to the surface first. And if you're drowning in debt, you're nowhere near the surface. And wouldn't you just know it? The Western society is drowning in debt. And here's the kicker: do they want another 100 trillion? Do they actually want another 100 trillion? We've got our psychopath's lair is laid out as usual. It's
increased from last week. I'm getting scared.
We haven't actually taken the story down, have we?
No, we've added to it.
The world needs $100 trillion more credit. Now let's just hang on a second. We need to go back a bit, don't we?
Yeah.
If the world's already $100 trillion in credit, and some say it's 1.5 quadrillion if we include the derivatives. But we try and make shows that other people can actually play these to other people without being embarrassed. If the world's, let's just 100 trillion in debt, and they want another 100 trillion to solve it. Let's go back to the first 100 trillion and ask this really simple question. Who to?
Yes.
Who is it to? And how did they get the power
and what have they
to
done
hold?
With it?
And well, they bought everything. How did they get the power to ransom a planet? How did they get the power to abuse 7 billion people one way or another? To deny them their dreams? To deny them the destiny of what they could and maybe should be? Now, I know that if they gave us it all, we wouldn't be anything. We wouldn't have anything. We would just take it for granted, sit back and do nothing. I know that. I know this setup has got to be a challenge to us. So we feel that we've achieved and we want to achieve better. That's what men usually or mostly would like to do. You know, you want to be challenged, overcome, and then be challenged again. That's what makes us better. Men. Adversity makes men. Prosperity makes monsters. Well, that couldn't be more true. Because look at the people who claim to be our controllers. I mean, they more and more every day are looking weak, ineffective, ugly, deceptive, evil people.
Yeah,
the deadness in their eyes.
The lazy they're getting lazy as we are.
Well, we're getting lazy, but so are they.
So are they, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I see this ignorance is bliss in the chat box. What a good... If ignorance is bliss, how come everybody's so depressed? Should be delighted. I know what he means by that, though. There are days when you think, why me? Why did I get to know this stuff? Why have I been infected with this? I have to know. You know, there was a time when I knew more than my phone. You know, let's get back to that. You know, now my phone knows more than bloody me. You just have to press a couple of buttons and you can be upstaged by your own telephone, mobile phone.
Yeah.
It is difficult, but this is the reality we have to deal with. And they want another 100 trillion. Now, I know that when I get to speak to people in short bursts, they can't actually accept what I'm saying and come back with what you would be an intelligent question. You know, when you say, look, this money system, they don't print the interest, which means that over time we can't pay it back.
Can't pay it back. It's impossible.
Because they just want to get governments around the world, who in turn want to get their people in as much debt as possible. Because the only interested bit they're interested in is
the interest.
That's why it's called interest.
That's called interest.
Because they generate the actual capital that we've asked for from nothing. Because we're the generators. We're the energy providers. We are the circulation. We are the power that actually makes this system work.
We are the salary. We are the
salary, calories.
Calories, energy.
It's all us.
All those.
And it's all based on our future promises. I don't get halfway through that little paragraph there before they're thinking, I only came in for my chips. That's a bit deep, isn't it? Always deep into it, and you think, oh my God. You can't engage them.
No.
And what that does initially is it makes us frustrated. And we think, we're trying to help those people, but they can't hear it. But they're going to. They are going to actually feel the pain. We only have to look at the recent events over the weekend from Egypt. Now, I don't know how many, but I did see the picture.
Yes.
There was at least hundreds of thousands, as far as you could see.
I know we've had this conversation before, though, haven't we? If you're not there, how do we really know? And I know it's hard to say that.
Well, you are right, because anything can be done with today's modern technology. I know you're right. I do know you're right.
We've seen the BBC put a picture of...
I know you're right.
One of the communist squares there, haven't they?
Yeah.
It was linked to something else.
Well, the BBC have been up to all sorts of tricks, haven't they?
Oh, they have, I know.
But they only have to go back to the early 90s and CNN were broadcasting fake stuff from the Iraq War.
I know, but it would be nice if somebody could corroborate some of the stories. In fact, that's one of the things I was looking through on Facebook for the other day. I went on after a long, long time. And nothing's changed there.
It hasn't, has it?
I was trying to find something that corroborates what's going on, in that somebody that on Facebook knows somebody in Egypt, and they were actually in the crowd waving one of the lasers. Now that would be nice. That would be nice if you could corroborate it that way. But anyway, maybe I'm asking too much.
But moreover, really, it's this country, isn't it? It's this country now. I mean,
we've plundered Egypt. We've been there. They're part of one of our legacies, aren't they?
Well,
it's part of the empire.
But isn't it travelling a well-travelled route? Because this trouble really started in Iceland and Ireland, didn't it?
Yeah.
Iceland stood up for themselves. Ireland capitulated.
Done a great job. Yeah.
Ireland capitulated. And then we move over to Greece, and now Egypt. And if it follows the path properly, next will be Italy, then Spain, then Portugal, then France, then us, then America. That's the path of empire from ages past, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, following the empire. Yeah.
You know, the European. Well, the European.
One by one.
The European Union unemployment figures are out today. Over 12%. That's 1 in 8 people are now not working. But in the 16 to 24 bracket, 1 in 4. 1 in 4 young people are not working. Now, we can actually criticise those young people all day. But that's not going to fix it, is it?
No.
Okay, they're a product of the system. And the system allowed them to be that product. And if they feel that they can sit back all day and live off other people, then that's because, for some reason that I can't quite put into words, that's okay with them too. You know, they've been kept as little children. They'll never leave home because only adults want to leave home. Children never want to leave home because they can't manage. But again, this sounds like I'm picking on the kids. If we don't actually spend our time investing with the children, there is no future anyway. What we do now won't matter if we don't spend time with the generation that's behind us. Now, I do get to employ kids, and they are over 20 odd years now of employing youngsters. They are probably more compliant and easygoing now than I've ever known. But there's a price for that, and that is that they don't ask questions. And they can't be taught to do manual things. They can't be taught in the way they used to be. And if the machines that I've got a chipper, I've got a rumbler, I've got a fish and chip shop, just in case those don't know, and I've got a cash register that's all itemised, and a card machine, which I wish I didn't have to have, but the demand says I have to. And the kids take an awful long time to use what is old-fashioned technology. The new stuff, they can master it with the left hand in 10 minutes. But the old stuff that we all recognise with the, you must remember the order, put it in the till and it adds it up for you, it's remembering that order that catches them out. They can't remember the order. The people come up there, can I have fish and chips twice, and the peas and a curry and a can of this, and the kids go, yeah, just fit, and they're at the till, fish and chips how many times? They press that button twice, and peas, one, just, yeah. By the time they've got the order in the till, you could have bloody served it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's embarrassing for them. I mean, God bless them, they do pick it up. They do speed up. But they don't know they don't have this skill until they see that they don't have this skill. They watch people in all these shops thinking, oh, that looks easy, that looks easy, that looks easy. And then you say, okay, have a go, this isn't as easy as you think. And the shock on their face when it isn't as easy as this, because they don't think.
No. I had it at college. When I went to college, they were I were a little bit older when I went to college, and did my plumbing and everything. And there were younger kids below me, and they were 16, and they were proper apprentices and things. But they couldn't even use a tape measure. They couldn't read. They were actually going to classes for reading and writing. And while they were doing that, I was in the library catching up on other things. And I thought, and I said to one of the tutors, I said, you can't seriously. You're not seriously going to let these lads go out into
this is how
into somebody's home and fit a central heating system when they can't even read and write. Come on.
This is how you get away with the next line, right? This is it, because it's in a newspaper, and because it's on the internet, and because it's full of economic words that people are not quite comfortable with. You can get away with this next line here. Ready? The doubling of existing credit levels could be achieved without increasing the risk of a major crisis. It's a bit like that line we had last week. We're going to close hospitals, but it won't affect healthcare.
I'll send them an email saying checks in the post.
Honestly, you can get away with this because the WA sent the report from the WEF ahead of its high-profile annual meeting in Davos. Now, Davos is just basically a big Bilderberg. It's for the money men. You know, it's just a joke. I mean, and we should, because we don't understand the money system. The money system starts and finishes with how many wages you get, how much you got in your wages, and how much you got left.
Yep.
That's our money. That's our economics. That's basic, plain, old-fashioned home economics, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Now, we're taught home economics is baking cakes, but it's not. Home economics is running your home, isn't it?
It is.
It's actually running your home. And I don't know what the percentage is of people in the UK, but I suspect probably half or more are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Where do we get
That's
paid?
me. I've got my hand up.
Paycheck's American, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're in a war, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why you get paid in wages.
Yes.
We're in a war.
The wages of war.
We have been in a war your entire lives.
We have.
We have been in a war ever since time immemorial.
This is World War
This
III.
has been a war against us, and it's a war to keep us down.
It's been ongoing.
It's to keep us
forever.
down, to keep us sick, to keep us dumb, to keep us compliant, and to keep us paying their luxuries.
Yep.
It's not new. The only thing new to this entire game is the person who finds it. It has been going on throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we live in wards, why we get paid wages, and everything that you think you own, which bit do you really own?
Yeah.
Which bit is yours? Which bit of grass out there belongs to you? Because whatever you're going to say that you own, we'll call it a possession, and you might be able to keep it, if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
One news story.
No, yeah.
But who do we owe the money to? The world is already $100 trillion in debt to somebody, and they want another $100 trillion to fix it, and there'll be no major crisis. Well, of course they won't, because they make it up.
Mm-hmm.
Greece has been dismantled. Their infrastructure is being absolutely sold off.
Yeah.
Okay, now Egypt's next. Egypt has recognised it. Was there hundreds of thousands of people in the streets? It looked like they were. I was
yes,
watching live feeds over the weekend, a live feed. It looked like they were. It was from RT. Say what you want about RT, doesn't matter.
No.
It looked like it was probably real.
There's definitely something going on.
But let's not get hung up on that.
No.
Let's get back home. What are we going to do when it comes here?
Yes.
What are we going to do when 60% of youngsters are unemployed in Greece? Am I making this up? No, I am not. Here it is. Greece youth unemployment hits 60% as recession continues to cripple the country. Jobless rate has almost tripled since country's debt crisis in 2009. Well, I don't know. They started a year late.
There were people putting the kids out on the street and saying, "Come on, take me. I can't afford to feed my kids." Now, I wrote down something before we started the show, and I wrote down comfortable.
Uh-huh.
And the reason I wrote down comfortable was, to some extent, we're in our own little bubble here in Britain. We are comfortable. We have got a thing called the Social Security, the safety net, as it were,
and a bank,
and a safety net,
and a bank that can print our money.
Yes, and print the world's money, really, doesn't it?
Well, it prints for all the Commonwealth.
That and the Dutch's.
Isn't it always Germany?
The German bank.
It's always Germany and England, isn't it?
It always has been.
Throughout Europe now, there's 2 banks left. Well, when those 2 banks, well, we're not going to give ours up very easy. Germany's not going to give theirs up very easy.
Well, that's why we didn't go with the euro, because the Queen wants a face on the money.
But it's Her Majesty's revenue. And let's have a look at the name revenue.
Yes.
What does revenue mean? It's a revolution, right? It's a cycle. It's to recycle. That's why they've got us recycling down at this end. Because revenue is to send back home.
Yep.
The venue is where it came from. And to send it back is to rehouse it.
Yep.
The idea with everything that's injected into circulation will be taken back out again.
Look at the penny. It's got the portcullis gate on it. The 1 penny. That tells you she wants every chuffing penny.
I actually think, if I read right, the Bank of England only controls the currency and credit. The actual mint itself prints these coins, you know, and the government's in charge of the coins, I think. I do think they've got that little bit. Still got a bloody face on it, hasn't it?
There's a good one. The mint, Royal Mint. Where did they come up with that? I was thinking about that the other day.
I don't know.
No, I'm sure somebody will be able to tell us. The Royal Mint. But I was thinking, is it linked to the herb mint?
I don't know. It'll be linked to the plant somehow. We know that
because you used mint to settle your digestion, didn't you? That's why we eat mint. That's why we eat mints.
Right. All going very well.
Like a swan.
Now, one of the things that I noticed at the G20 was the fact that there is a lot of people protesting and talking about their right to peacefully protest. And they think that they are actually doing good. Now, it's true you have a right to peacefully protest. You also have a right to shit your bed, roll around in it, and call it chocolate sauce. It doesn't mean it's an effective way of achieving anything. Plus, believe it or not, when you are protesting, you're engaging in a certain legal activity that has certain legal ramifications. Now, a lot of people think that when they protest, they are rejecting. They're telling the government no. And they're trying to reject it. And then they get mad. Oh, we protested it, and the government did it anyways. Why? Because they don't understand what a protest is, legally speaking. Chances are some lawyers came and told you, yeah, you have a right to protest. Sure enough, you do. But then if you start doing it, let's look at what happens. Legally speaking, protest means performance under, without being happy about it, without agreement, without contract. It's an okay, but I'm not happy about it. It is not a rejection. It is clearly a legal acceptance. So if you are protesting HST, you are legally accepting HST, but saying you're unhappy about it. You're not happily accepting it. It is not a rejection. If you start protesting things, historically what it meant was that if someone came and ordered you to do something, you could ask to see the contract. If they refused to produce it, but then they demanded you engage in this action anyways, you could fulfill, you could perform, but you do it under protest. What this means is you are performing, you're doing what the other guy wants. If, however, within 3 days they can't bring a contract showing you the terms of the contract, saying that, yes, you had a duty to do that, then you get to determine the terms of the contract. Protest is acceptance. Remember that. It is not a rejection. Anytime you protest something, you are accepting it legally. This is why the government likes it when you peacefully protest. You're letting them know, yeah, okay, we're giving you legal permission to do this, but we're going to cry about it like a baby. Protest is for children. There are far, far, far better ways to achieve the positive change you seek. You can still march up and down the road with your signs, just don't call it a protest. Call it a rejection. Yeah, publicly reject their policies instead of publicly protesting them, and then you're actually rejecting their policies instead of giving them permission to carry forth with them. And most people who protest have no idea that by protesting, they are granting permission for the very thing that they're standing against. This is why protesting really is for children. You don't even understand what you're doing. If you want to achieve a change, write a letter. Get busy on the internet. Maybe make some videos. Get active in court. Start filing documents. There are much better ways. And even your rights, when it comes right down to it, peaceful protest, it's the lowest of the low. When it comes to seeking redress from government abuses, protest is the least effective way. Revoking consent to be governed, that's probably the best. So, folks, the next time you protest something, just know you are accepting it. You're not saying no to it. You're saying, yes, but I get to cry about it. That's what protest legally means. What you actually mean to do, I think, is a rejection, a public rejection, a peaceful public rejection. You do the same thing. You march around, have your hot dogs, blow your bubbles, do whatever the hell you want, provided it's peaceful. But you publicly reject the government policies instead of publicly protesting them. Because protest is yes. Rejection is no.
I do like Rob Menard. I've been listening to him for a long time, and although I think the actual taking them on in court is not what I choose to do. I find the best way to beat the court system is to keep out of it for the time being. It's to keep out of it.
Yeah.
I did get hit with a speeding fine, didn't I? Was it a couple of years ago now?
No.
Last April, was it?
Yeah,
last April,
yeah.
Yeah, and they wrote to me saying that I committed an offence. I'd committed an offence. Mm-hmm. I was travelling in a timed speed trap, and I was travelling too quick. And they wrote to me and said, you've committed an offence. So I wrote back. And I said there was no roadworks going on. All 3 lanes were open. There was no traffic in front of me. No traffic behind me, and I'd been offended by them slowing my journey home. Mm-hmm. 14 months have gone past. Never heard a thing. Nothing at all. So make of that what you will. Make of that what you will. I think actually they probably got the letter, opened it, well, probably binned it really, but if they opened it, probably had a good giggle at it and thought.
And I saw the ticket you got. You showed me.
I definitely got the ticket. Yeah. And I think they just read the letter and thought it made them laugh, and I thought.
Let him off.
Let him off, yeah. Let him have that one. You wait, there'll be something in the bloody post end of week now. We are live on Blog Talk and Awake Radio. Thank you for having us on Awake Radio. We do like chattering, don't we?
We do.
And we do this every single Tuesday night, and we just decided to do it with microphones now.
We've got to do it, haven't we?
Well, I think we've got to do it because, as Rob Menard said there, is that we've got to grow up, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Because that is really what occurred to us. I mean, we used to say, how old are we really? And it's not very old, really.
No.
Because this is a mum and dad system that's been set up around us, and it's always been that way. With government playing the part of daddy, and society as a whole, and all the services we command, playing the part of mummy, and we are acting like the spoilt little children in many occasions. And I spoke last week about the people who are struggling to find a job and struggling to get by, and it sounds like, in many ways, I'm picking on them. And I'm not. If you're trying to help yourself, I'm all for helping you. But if you're not helping yourself, then you've got to say, what was it you wanted and why do you think you deserve it?
Yeah.
You know, that is the truth of this. You don't get it just because you want it. That's the illusion. So, please don't get mixed up with what I'm trying to say. It's not that I'm against those people who are unlucky enough not to work. It's just that your mindset has got to be that you want to be better.
Yeah.
You want to be better. And
see it as a challenge. See it as...
And being independent.
Yeah.
Independent is actually being able to provide the things you need for yourself. That is all I'm asking.
Life is full of challenges. I've said this to people before, and I've said to, and it really gets them thinking. Take the money away. Take the money out of everything. Go back to how we used to be in our little round Iron Age fort.
Right.
You couldn't sit around on your arse all day doing nothing. You couldn't.
Well,
For that little round fort to exist and for it to be fed, you had to be doing something.
Yep.
And because there was no money then, it was the own little community that looked after itself, and it defended itself against other communities that wanted the better stuff that they'd got, because they'd got the better bit of the river, or they've got better bit of grassland, or they've got a few fatter cows than us. We're going to get them.
And isn't that a part of history? Isn't that a part of where the gang?
That's just what it is. We're up against the gang. Up the street.
The gang stopped attacking each other because once they stole everything, there was nothing
There
to
was
steal.
nothing to steal.
They realised that they asked for 10%, then it was 20%, and it was all protection money from the other gang.
The tithe bands.
And then they actually got to chat to the other gangs and thought, I tell you what, rather than kill each other, we'll just threaten each other.
Yeah.
We'll just frighten the hell out of them. And this is how this worked, isn't it?
It is how it works.
And this is also this is a very important fact of history. That years ago, the warriors, would either go out to fight or hunt. And if they weren't fighting or hunting, they were making the equipment to fight and hunt. All right. Now, in all societies, there has been the weak. And the weak and they won't fight. We'll call them the cowards. They've always existed. And those who wouldn't fight and were a weak link in the army, as it were, they were left behind to safeguard the women and children, weren't they?
Yeah.
And it is those very things, those very people, that developed in today to what we did call the priest class. But now we call it the political class, where they don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
They don't do anything, but they make all the rules for those that do everything.
Yeah. They make it look like they're doing something.
That's right. It's actually evolved quite a long way, hasn't it?
It has.
And the priest class, the priest class of old, the deviants before them, they were the ones that were left behind because they wouldn't fight. They always developed systems, didn't they? They always developed systems of control, because the women and children were seen as lesser, and they always developed systems of control, and they would be the reporters of who'd done well and who'd done badly when the men got back from war or hunt.
Yeah.
So they became quite powerful, and this is how government, what we have, today, it started. The gangs decided to stop killing each other, and decided that they would rape as regular, but rather than burn everything down, they figured that 10 and 20% would be okay for starters. Yeah. And as long as they threatened war with each other, we'd keep paying up and doing it.
And now it's 75%. That's
It
10,
isn't, yeah.
15, it crept up and up and up. Now it's 75%.
And now it's 70 pence, yeah.
It is, yeah. But going back to the kids, we wanted to keep on track with the kids, because they're our future, they're up and coming, and what I wanted to say was good. These kids that are in the 20s and they've found this awakening, this... we don't call it the truth anymore, because we don't know what the truth is. You can only be true to yourself, I believe. And if you've been true to yourself, then you're pretty much there. But good luck to those kids that are up and coming. And if you're a little bit older and you're finding this stuff on the internet and you think, oh, what were these two old farts talking about? And we're just trying to leave something behind for people to think, yeah, there were some people there that thought differently, and we've had our own ideas how we could sort this crap out, and they're not that far-fetched, are they? Just end the corruption, for one.
Well, face the corruption head on.
As Iceland have done. Jail the bloody banksters and the bent politicians. Stick them in jail. Sack them. And stick somebody in there that you can trust as a collective.
But like all governments throughout history, every country suffers the same fate eventually.
It does, unfortunately.
Corruption takes hold. It takes hold, then it gets greedy. I mean, the MPs now, you have to say that they're rewarding themselves at least another £10,000 pay rise.
Yes.
On the 66, I mean, they say they've got a basic salary of 66,000. So that'll jack it to 76. But what's their expenses limit?
120,000.
120,000 they've got on expenses. And they're all claiming in excess of 90 plus on it. That is 150,000, 160,000 pounds a year that we know of. And those in positions of power, who knows? Ian Duncan Smith, he's getting paid out for land that he owns. These farming subsidies are for the landowners.
Yeah,
sounds like they're for farmers, doesn't it?
Well,
it sounds like they're for farmers, but they're not. They're not.
I know William Hague's not far away from us in his constituency, is he? And he comes from a rather big farming family from around here. So These
Land is money. Land is money, and the Queen owns 1/6 of it.
Does, yeah.
Land and water.
Well, land and water, yes.
She owns
16%.
At least we know for sure 16% of the planet is in her name. All right, not in somebody else's name.
No.
In her name.
Yeah, what's the
16%?
The mining company in Australia. What is it? Tinto.
Rio Tinto.
Rio Tinto.
Yeah, she pretty much owns that.
She owned the big aluminium plant up in Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
And when
and British Petroleum and the Dutch lot, they're all the same gang.
They're all the same gang.
They're
Yeah.
all the same gang.
Yeah, this bloodlines. We were going to look into that at some point, weren't we? The bloodline. It is quite interesting, the bloodline. But
let's remember that we're trying to get through to people who don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and we act like children, so we get treated like children.
We do, yes.
And protest. Now, the word pro is to be for, and test is a trial. So for trial, what you're doing is it's for trial. Now, what you're doing, if you're protesting, you're protesting, but you're doing it. You're accepting it, but you don't like it. To reject it is what we. That's what it says.
It is,
the clip says to reject it is the way forward.
Yeah,
and people
this.
say, "What's the point of writing letters?" If your local MP got 2,000 letters saying the same thing, he knows he's out of a job. If he doesn't at least respond, right? They're only interested in keeping the jobs.
That's all.
That's why they have to tell lies, because they can't keep the jobs if they tell the truth. It's just not possible. But as back for the children thing, we do have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, do you know, I do expect the electric's brought into my house, the gas is brought into my house, the water's brought into my house, the food is arranged in perfect order, just a mile or two up the road at the supermarket. My milk can be delivered to the door, my newspaper's delivered to the door, all the news I need is delivered to my TV and my internet.
This is
where we're going, you see. We've gone and made ourselves lazy.
Back to comfortable.
We've gone and made ourselves decadent. This is decadence, where we expect these things now.
And this is the trick. The politicians make it out that they've done it. We've given you all this. We haven't. They haven't done it. We've done it. We've done it ourselves.
Yeah,
we always do it.
That's the difference, isn't
it?
That
is, yeah.
We build it, we maintain it, we run it, we fix it.
Bloody pay for it.
And then we have to pay for it as well.
And then they sell it off.
To the pals.
For peanuts. Oh, God. Kids, if you're listening to this, and you think voting's going to sort this out, well, have a bloody good go. You go and vote, as I did. I can't tell you not to vote, because you've got to go. It's a hurt process, isn't it? You've got to feel the hurt. And when we were that age, we thought we knew everything, didn't we? You always do at that age. You think you invented sex and art and the clothes and the music.
and then,
we invented the music.
And then your mum and dad talk about it. You think, you did. Nothing new, is
nothing. It's all rediscovering.
There is nothing new except the people who bloody find it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, remembering as well, isn't it? We've said that before. Are you remembering these things, or you're not researching them at all? You're not uncovering them. It's
the same template played by different people.
Yeah,
it's just a magic roundabout.
But
it's a magic roundabout, and that's all we do: go round and round. And the reason that we go round and round is because we won't learn.
No,
we will not learn. We refuse to learn.
A little clip saying it from Albert Einstein. He said it has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. Now, he died in 1955.
We're going to become obsolete, this version.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any way we cannot face that is going to be a reality. Now, if someone said to me, so how do we stop it? I'll say you can't. You can't stop this, right? What is coming is coming. You have to deal with it, and you have to try and take some part in it that allows you to be part of it, to actually try and bring your side of good or bad, whichever it is. We need to have a debate at the highest levels about where are we going? Where are we really going? Because the world is a business. The world is now, it's clearly a business. Now, over time, they gave us countries, and they gave us borders, and they gave us flags, and they gave us religion, and they gave us denomination, which is money. Okay, now religion is always, it's an order. Religion is by order, which means that it has been ordered. All religions are pretty much the same story, adjusted for the country and flag that they're serving. It had to be changed because they couldn't have those two religions getting on with each other. Divide and Conquer's been known for a long time, at least 4,000 plus years. That's documented, and probably forever, to be honest. Probably from the minute man picked up a stick and hit somebody with it, it's always been this way. I'm saying, man, it'll have been an ape in time. In 2001: A Space Oddity, the first scene is
it is
the monkeys picking up a bone and smacking the other one around the head.
Yeah, and it is families that fall out. Families do fall out.
Look at us. Look at us at this level. Look at the people who are trying to affect change.
Yeah.
And look at the problem they have, because they're trying to affect change in their favour. It's always in their favour. And we have to accept that that's what people do. At this level, the next level, and every level you can see upwards. But I've lost where I was again. I always do that, don't I?
we were trying to involve the kids, and it's the youngsters, isn't it, that need to come forward. They need to step up.
But they're too young.
They are.
You see,
there's the problem itself.
You've got to be able to look back at history and use your experience to decode it, to see how it worked. Well, at 20, you don't have any looking back to do. No. You're looking forward. You're looking forward to the next weekend. You're looking forward to seeing that girl that you fancy. You're looking forward to the things that you're looking forward to when you're younger. It's only when you pass the seesaw moment, because we live in a seesaw environment. It's see it, say it, see it, say it, but it's always second hand. You watch, but it always becomes second hand. Watch, see, say it, second. So it's seesaw. But once you go over the horizon, once you go over the crest, as it were, and that's somewhere around about 40 for some people, 40-ish or whatever, you've gone over the crest now.
Yeah.
Now you've got at least as much to look back on as you have to look forward to. And now you can see the balance.
You can.
Now the balance starts to come
to you. You are at the fulcrum, aren't you?
Yeah. And before that, it's very hard to do. Because the people who are 20-something, they're still just looking forwards. They want their lives to be better. Whereas now we get to look back, we can see the mistakes we made, but they're not interested in listening, are they?
No.
Because they're not old enough to listen. You see, old people used to be listened to, but now they're made fun of.
Yeah, well, I didn't listen to my I was lucky enough to see my great-grandparents on both sides, because they all married young and had children young, and I carried on the same thing. I had my kids when I was young, and they said, if I'd listened to them, said neither be a lender or borrower be. And if I'd listened to that, I would have been much healthier and wealthier and wiser than I am now.
But we thought debt was the way.
We did, yes. It was sold to us.
You've got to get into debt to get on.
Yeah, the NLP again.
It is a hell of a system, isn't it?
It is.
And I do admire it. I admire it greatly, but we need to grow up.
And they've been honing it for thousands, not just hundreds of years. They've been honing this for thousands of years.
Tell you what I've read over the weekend. Alan Watt, Cutting Through, volumes 1, 2 and 3. I'll be back with that one.
Now has got these call centres, but the idiot on the other end of the line's got a script to go by and he can't come off the script. Fuck no. You ring them up and you go, I'd like to open an account on the internet. And they go, oh, can I have your account number, please? Well, no, I ain't got one yet because I'm not on the internet, am I? Oh, yeah, gotcha. Can I have your account number, please? And they have a script to go by, but they wouldn't like it if we had a script and we stuck to our script. They wouldn't like that very much. You know, you get BT call you up to remind you to pay your bill, and they go, can I speak to the account holder, please? And we go, I am Vickers. No, the account holder, please. No, I am Vickers.
The inimitable Mr. Lee Evans, then. Certainly, you get the impression that he knows a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, if we all sort of did that on the phones, I mean, I don't know, does everybody get these pestered phone calls from whoever about gas and electric, and we're just doing a survey and we'd just like to ask you a few questions?
EPI.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have some great fun with them now. But before they just annoy you, don't they? And you think, why do these people keep doing this day after day after day after day? It does make you wonder. Because does anybody buy anything or respond to this stuff? Well, the answer is they must do.
They do, unfortunately.
Because this privacy thing that we're all losing, free. We're giving it away for free. I mean, privacy, it has a value, but only if you give it away. Right? If you keep it to yourself, it's your own personal you. You know, you ask yourself, well, if privacy is of no importance, why did you ever seal your envelopes down on your letters? Why did you ever bother? Why, if the postman had opened your bank statement on the way to the front door, would you have been bothered? Because you surely would be, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah.
But we all now know that we're giving away everything that we do to the spies who do not love us.
Yeah.
We've invited these spies into our house, and they do not love us. Now, I know, you know, I hate the internet in a way that I know what it's really for. And it's going to take us down.
Yeah.
It's going to take us all down.
When
I started the show with the Worldwide Wake, it's because this is our funeral we're going to. This is our replacement. We are cloning ourselves in this machine. It is learning who, what, and everything about us.
Everything, yeah.
We're making our own clone that will replace the last little bits of humanity that we represent.
Yeah.
Now, we are not the best version of humanity that ever existed. But I don't know which was. So I'm not going to argue. But we're definitely not the best version. Because through a predatory money system and a selfish, greedy society, we only care about one thing. Now, people can say, we've always been like this, Paul. And yet, to a point, I suppose I can't argue with you. So why did we not feel that we had to lock our doors 50 years ago? Why did we not have to watch our kids 25 hours a day? Why do we now not know the name of our next door neighbour?
I know, you can't. You don't even. We used to let your neighbours look after your kids and borrow a cup of sugar and all that kind of thing, didn't you?
So this is you know, we've maybe not ever been perfect people. I think that's fairly agreed across the board. But we've been different people to what we are now. And when these phone calls come in, I actually advise everybody to do what you should be doing. And you see this being done on TV every day. You grab the conversation. You take control of what it is that they have contacted you for.
Because they rang you.
They rang you. In other words, they want something from you.
Yeah.
So you have to grab that conversation and do not answer any of their questions until they have answered all of yours. Now, they say it's company policy that we must ask these questions. And they usually quote the Data Protection Act, don't they?
Yeah.
You're quite entitled to do the same thing. You say, I am happy to answer your questions if you're happy to answer mine. Because my company's policy is also that I need your personal details. Now, they're ringing up to do business with you. They're trying to do business with you. And you know, the people who've done 5 or 10 minutes research on this stuff, you know we live in a world of contracts. And for most people, contracts is an agreement between two people that is duly signed. Duly signed by both parties in agreement. But the word means something else as well, doesn't it? To contract is to make smaller. Okay, is to make smaller. Now, we think contracts, in today's modern age, have been replaced by the word agreement. And they have, haven't they?
They have.
But you're the only one that signs it.
Yep.
So now you are the lesser party. You have been contracted, made smaller. When they phone up, it's real simple. They say, is that Mr. So-and-so? And you say, oh, hello there. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And why are you calling for whoever it is that they've asked for today? Don't give absolutely anything away until you're comfortable. Now, if you give your name away, it doesn't matter. This name game it fools us in the early days. But it is right to withhold any details until you find out exactly who you're talking to. And you say, now I realise that you want my name, my address, my postcode and my date of birth. And I'm happy to give you those if you're happy to give me yours. Yours. Not the company, because the company you represent cannot speak. You're speaking and representing that company today. Yeah. So in the court of public opinion, you are representing who you want to represent.
You are the vehicle for that company.
You're the legal fiction for that company. You're the persona, the vehicle, and I am my own company.
Yeah.
So I am able to represent myself. So let's do some business. You ask me and I'll ask you. You ask me and I'll ask you. They can't do it.
No.
They can't do it. Any demand they're making upon you, you've got to make it equal that they actually... And they won't do it. they can't do business with you, and you will find many phone calls will actually stop at that point.
Yeah, they'll put the phone down.
They'll
on you.
put the phone down because,
Yeah.
and you ask them if they're recording it, and you say, please may I have a copy of the recording? Okay,
Yeah.
otherwise I do not consent to be recorded. And I would ask for a dial back number. I actually say, please may I have a number that I can call you direct back on,
Yeah.
so I can verify that you are who you say you are, because I'll be answered by your reception, and it'll also allow me to record your conversation as well. And just go on Skype and do it. Just go on Skype and record them. And they say this conversation may be recorded. You say, well, no me about it. I know you're doing it, so I'm recording you. Do it. If there's one thing that we can claim to try and do with these shows, it's teaching people to stand up for themselves.
It is, yeah.
You've forgotten your power, haven't you? You've
Yeah.
forgotten that you're the machine. You are the energy, the circulation, and the very person that keeps the lights on. Now, I know people get hung up with persona and the name game and the judges and the bench and the bank, and please feel free to fight them on all fronts. I don't really think going into court and trying to teach them the job is going to be very successful, but I admire you for trying.
Yeah, because
Because it's a corrupt system.
it is. It's bent
It's a criminal justice system, and they'll just make up anything they want
You've
to.
got a different rule book
But
to
I
their-
admire everybody who has a go.
Yeah.
Fight them on all fronts. Say no on all fronts. That's my opinion, and that's what I'll do all the time.
It's learning to say no, isn't it? That's the
We
thing.
do this because we know our kids in time may well look back and say, I knew what they were trying to do, and we try and document the changes that are happening, what's now and what wasn't before, because our kids don't know. We haven't taught our kids anything, have we? Not really, because they go to school for fish, and they get indoctrination all day, and they come home and flick on the internet. Meanwhile, they've been swapping pornography on the mobile phones all day mostly. What part are we playing? I mean, the plan is to keep the kids at school till 6. They want to keep them till 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, we did that the other week. That's in this.
Yeah,
pile
they want
over
to
here.
keep them till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I mean, this ADHD, this made-up disease called ADHD, which actually
Yeah.
should just be called naughty children.
Yes.
Okay, undisciplined children, which is what it should be called. Undisciplined children who, through the PC upbringings, have now figured out that they don't get into trouble for doing anything, so they can run the house.
Yeah.
They can actually run the house and do what they want. And these kids are 3, 4, 5 and 6 years old. Luckily, we have a solution. The number of children given drugs for ADHD is up 9-fold. That's 900%. With patients as young as 3 being prescribed Ritalin. Google it. Google side effects of Ritalin. Nearly 800,000 children were given ADHD medication last year, says the Death Management System. Doctors are prescribing drugs instead of more expensive treatments. It does bring tears to my eyes, because I know that this Ritalin is wrecking these children.
Yeah.
They'll never recover from the vaccinations, the jabs and shots, and this crazy boxing match. And I know Ritalin. Their lives are over. They'll never be a complete human being. They'll never be what they were meant to be. And this system doesn't bloody care.
It doesn't care, no.
It doesn't care. No.
It wants rid of us, doesn't it?
I know, but this is
going back to that.
This is
The technology thing's taking over.
this is murder.
It is murder, yeah.
This is murder of the soul. This is murder of the spirit. This is murder of the very light that is the human race. And it bothers me a great deal.
Is it the guy Richard Dawkins? I'm sure in an interview he said he agreed with infanticide. He actually did agree with it. These are the six.
These are the TED.
so-and-sos.
That's the TED conference guys.
Yeah,
isn't it?
the
I know.
six so-and-sos that are profess to be
Well, I had
cleverer than we are.
Well, you've reminded me.
Profess.
Professor. Remember, the word is profess. In other words, I think.
I think
Yes.
yes.
Oh. Profess to know. These people are bloody snakes. I've had in the shop now 3 times a retired philosophy lecturer, and he's an interesting guy. He's retired. He's certainly who cares? He's a cross between a Swede and a German. He lives in Sweden, but he comes from Germany, and he visits this country he's got relatives here. And I've seen him 3 times now.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time he came in the shop, he read my canvas prints on the wall. And I didn't spot him as somebody I should talk to, if you see what I mean. He was quiet and nondescript. And he came across and said, it's all about fish, isn't it? And with that, he was gone. And I thought to myself, what was that all about? Because that's what he said. It's about the fish, isn't it? And I thought, next time I'm having him. So I did. Long story short, I said, if you're lecturing on philosophy to students in universities over 30, 40 years, I said, give me a list of books that I should look at. Give me a list of books that I should look at that you think will help on my journey. Because as a lecturer, you must be asked that all the time. So which books were you using as reference during your lecturing? George Bernard Russell. All of them. 3 of them. All about the unpopular things that are going to have to be faced in the future. Bertrand Russell.
The eugenicist.
Yeah. And he was such a difficult guy to talk to. Because you say, okay, is there too many people in the world? And he said, but is there too many people in the world? If there is, what makes you say that? It was like speaking to a slippery, never answer a question. But these people trained politicians. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But just that list of books, and I recognised 3 out of the 6 he gave me, and I thought, he's been teaching that for 30, 40 years as a philosopher. Good God,
I've just got a snippet here from Flannery O'Connor, born in 1925, died in 1964. So he made the grand old age of 39, is it, or 40?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I go, I'm asked if I think the university stifles writers, and he says, my opinion is that they don't stifle enough of them. That says it all. They're not there to... it's copy. It is the original copy and paste, isn't it?
Well, I think
it's not free thinking.
Who was it who wrote Fahrenheit 451? Red Bradbury, wasn't it? I think you can find a little bit of a quote from him that he's totally against universities as well, and he did his own. He said he started going to the library when he was I forget 12 or something like that, and he finished his library graduation at 28. And he says we shouldn't be burning the books, we should be burning the computers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's his opinion. We're not going to burn computers.
No,
we're not. In this world of truth and numbers, it is truth and numbers, and there is actually the six numerology that everybody gets a little bit hooked up on. Okay, the 6 numerology does come from times gone by. All right, it does come from the degrees and the pyramids and all that sort of stuff. And the 6s were easy ways of remembering the calculations. I won't go into it, but the 6 numerology that we use, that they use, is just a way of communicating with each other. All right. It basically is a sex system, but it's covered with 666. They don't want us to know that it's sex that controls all this.
Yep.
And people say, no, but look closely at your relationships. Look closely at the male-female interaction. Look especially closely at the younger people. And you ask them what's number 1 on their agenda. It's sex and control. And sex is control.
It is. Yeah.
And look at the deviants. When we talked about the gangs from years gone by, how they eventually got together to form governing bodies, it was always the deviants. It was always the ones that wouldn't fight. I'm not for it. I don't want to. I can't. They were the priest class that developed the control systems over many, many years. And when you think, they've got to have the deviants in position. They've got to have the paedophiles and the homosexuals and the people that like alternative things. Otherwise, they would not prey on this society. They have to hate what society is for them to want to change it to what they want society to be. So it only makes sense that the people at the top have to be completely different to what we are. And reading history, if you look at the bloodlines, they were trying to breed this 2,000 years ago, where people of like mind were trying to breed together to breed a whole alien race that doesn't follow any of the rules that we have. They make the rules for us to follow, which primarily is to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And it's done through religion. Right? Keep calm and carry on. Don't fight back. Fighting's not the answer. But they've got the guns, the power, the force, and they use that to achieve every end they want. And still we sit quiet, don't we?
And fighting's not to be confused with picking up a gun and fighting or using your fists. There are different ways of fighting.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah.
Now, we've done pennies before, and pennies for the sex control system. But the real pen is the one they try to put us in.
Yes,
and keep us in. And this pen is an imaginary pen, and we can break out of it. We just have to jump over the hedge or open the gate. But we don't choose to, because we don't think that we're going to get any backing, do we? This is the field full of sheep, and one of the sheep says, that farmer he is going to send us off to market and kill us. And the rest are saying, if you carry on talking like that, you're not only going to spoil your own day, you're going to spoil everybody's day. Now we're having a lovely day, the sun's shining, and he lets us eat all day, and he makes sure we've got enough clean water, and he shears us when we're too hot. I mean, talking like that's going to get you into all sorts of trouble. Doesn't change, does it?
No.
Hasn't changed at all. I hope somebody gets something that they can use from this. Now, I know the ones that are awake and aware, they're going to say, this is really quite a basic programme. That's how we've been programmed.
It is, yeah.
This is ABC 1, 2, 3. That's how you've been programmed. And even if you think you're awake and aware, you are using the language that they gave you. They gave you this language. And you're using it as if you understand it. And you do at this level. But there is a second decode. They speak the same language as us, but it doesn't mean the same thing. This is where the skill of the language writer has come. We think it means the same.
We do.
And those people who spend a little time looking at legalese, they've at least worked out 2 or 3 words that don't mean the same that we think. If we don't learn how to buy, we're never going to have anything.
No.
And we actually wave to each other saying goodbye.
We do.
Don't we? As if that's a good thing. Bow and wave. It's all ships, isn't it? It's all fishing ships in 1 decode. This is the net that we've been sunk and drowned in. And they're going to tighten it so we can never, ever, ever get out. This is the noose around our necks.
Yeah.
We surf. Surf, remember the word surf? That is a very old word, isn't it? It's also a washing powder. We're not talking about the washing powder. We're not talking about the online. We're talking about the SERF, aren't we?
Yeah.
SERF. Now, F and V are interchangeable in this language. Think of the word knife. I've got knife, knives. Yeah, I think F and V are interchangeable. So we could be serving. And what do we use to go on this thing? What provides us with our service?
It does.
Servers. The servers. You see, we're serving ourselves for dinner. We're putting ourselves, this is it. This is it. We're putting ourselves in to be genetically changed in the matrix, which is the word for uterus or womb. We're putting ourselves in to be genetically changed for once, forever, for all, and will never, ever, ever change back. They will remain the wild human instinct, and we will have lost it forever. Domesticated, dissecto and mate. Dissect is to cut in half. Mate and tame is the same word. And team is the same word. And meat is the same word. And it is the tame, the tame mate that will actually be the meat for the team that can catch it. Yeah, dissecto and mate, domesticate. We cannot recognise that we're now under attack. We cannot recognise that we are being targeted for extinction. And for anybody who's just listening to this, you think that sounds absolutely crazy. Yeah, it does sort of, doesn't it? It does, because no one's told you. Do you know why no one's told you? Because they don't bloody know either. This is a system of levels and flaws and stories, and nobody gets it all unless you want it all. And it takes a long time to get this, doesn't it? The people who are going to wake up are going to wake up. You only have to give them 1 little push or 2 little push or 3 little pushes, and they're interested. But you never realise how big the picture is until you realise you're never going to get how big this picture is. You're never going to know this all. It's not possible for all knowing.
Not in a lifetime.
You can't do it. But you do have to get to a picture that you're comfortable with, which is a horror story.
Yes.
And then you have to speak out.
Your scope of
because
horror.
If we don't... what a sham that is. But if we don't... Horoscope, exactly. This is designed to scare the bejesus out of you.
It is.
And that's not a big mistake, bejesus, is it?
No.
No, it isn't. It's the very spirit that tries to scare out of you. But yeah, I mean, every generation is getting sicker than the last one. Our kids can no longer read very well. Writing actually physically with a pen, over. It's over. Right? The ability to write, actually physically write on paper is almost done. Mathematics, bloody mystery. the basics of life, gone. Where does carrots come from? Where does beef come from? They don't know. They ask questions like, do we go around the sun or does the sun go around us? Which tap's hot again? I can never remember. How do you use a tin opener? And we've got lots and lots and lots of little things should be scaring us a lot.
Yeah.
We're losing what it is that we need to be human. We're becoming automatons, robots. We're becoming programmable. You can now program people yourself. You can now make people think something that they didn't already. You can just say it in a cool, calm, expert-type voice. Did you know that there's a new European law out that says that I'm not allowed to sell a chip that's bigger than the human ear? And people go, really? Really? Right, they don't say, no. Right, I've done this. I'm not allowed to sell a chip bigger than the human ear. All right. No one thinks I'm lying. Right, I've just made it up. Right, this is where we're losing touch with what it is that we should be. Because they are making up these crazy laws. You're not allowed to wash jam jars out and then make your own jam and put it in. Because we don't think they'll be hygienically clean. But they're making these laws so we get completely... We don't have anything to hold on to. There's nothing to hold on to. Everything that we thought was cast in stone is being wrecked. We're being taken down, destroyed, crumbling. There's nothing to hold on to.
No, they're taking away that sixth sense that we've all
This
got.
is the Titanic. This is the Titanic that we're on. This is the ship of state. Because they want to take the state that we're in and incorporate it into the mothership, which is Europe. Battleships, battle stations, maritime. The maritime admiralty product is what we are.
We are that.
We're on a road, R-O-W-E-D, a road maritime admiralty product. That's what we are. That's what we've been made. And they're rowing us there. We're rowing ourselves there. We are the rowers. We try and speak about the day before today, but we can't do it. They won't let us go backwards because we say yesterday. But you're not saying the day before, are you? You're saying yes today. Yeah? And then you talk about the next day coming, and what do? Tomorrowing. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. We'll have that. Because we are the rowers on the ship of state, and the ship of state is sinking, and we are being drowned.
Yeah.
All these analogies have been played out in front of our very eyes. It's all descriptives. Everything is connected. Nothing is not connected to something, and something is connected to something else.
It is.
And the SUM thing has value, but you don't see it. If you have nothing of value in your life, it's because you're spending your time gaining nothing of value. The time is now. It's the present.
It is.
And it's your time. You've only got a certain amount of time. Oh, I haven't got much time, and I need to have a bit of fun. And I want... Well, okay, I agree with that. I do agree that it shouldn't all be doom and gloom, but you've got to actually say to yourself, what was it you were here for again? If you want your life to mean something, if you want to live after you've died, and I question if you're alive now sometimes the way people speak, but if you want to live in your children's memory and your family history, how are you going to do that? What is it that you've done that makes your memory special and important? Because if you've just tried to keep out of trouble, keep your head down, and just about managed to pay your bills, and then had it all taken away from you at the end because of an induced illness that they treat but won't cure, if that's what you've done, are you claiming you've won something? No, you can't take it with you, which is what people say who are on the downward scope. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
The people who are losing stuff always say, can't take it with you. And the people who are frightened about what's going on say, if you've nothing to hide, you've nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
You just translate that into, I'm not doing anything wrong, so please leave me alone. I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm doing as I'm told.
Goebbels said the same thing.
Yeah. Goebbels. Gobble bloody anything.
Yeah. But the kid... we were talking about the kids, and the kids are going to have to reap what we've sown, aren't they?
If they're lucky.
If they're lucky. But
they're going to inherit the debt.
Well, this is
They're
it.
going to inherit a debt that they can't get out of.
I was just going to say
they're
that.
going to go to an allowance-based system that says if you're good and we like you, you can have a little... Yeah, the haves and the haven'ts.
They're happy with that to happen, though. And the system is set up to do that.
Yeah, but we're going to go through a real bit of unpleasantness where they're going to set those that haven't with a few that still have against each other.
Yes,
that's what's going on.
That's the divide and conquer
Anybody
bit coming.
There's a film called The Purge. It's out this year. I've watched it. A film called The Purge, and this is where they set the middle class and the lower class. It doesn't quite set them against each other. But what the film successfully does, and what all these newspaper stories do, and what lots and lots of internet videos are hopefully not like, they make us think that the world is ignorant, arrogant, dumb, aggressive, lazy, and out to steal things from us. It's full of bad people who want to do bad things and don't wish us well. It's not true.
No, it's
isn't true. No. They are trying to get society to take down itself. Look at Channel 4's announcement today. A very provocative, we're going to play the Muslim call to prayer during Ramadan. Right? It doesn't provoke me any at all. Mainly because I couldn't give a bugger what Channel 4 do. All right? Because they don't care what I do. So I'd rather they leave me alone and I'll leave them alone. All right? Now, I have no problems with Channel 4 doing that, but I know this is part of a long-term agenda that's been going on a long time to make us fight.
It has.
They want us to fight. And the colour of skin, which doesn't exist till you're about 4 or 5 years old, when your parents start to show you that it exists.
Yeah, the Crusades never stopped.
They never stopped.
No, they didn't.
It's the same game, the same template,
BS,
and it's the same stupid people who just sit back and let it happen.
Yeah.
We have the chance to get informed. We have the chance to be more than we are.
We have.
I don't like the internet, but I do like what it can do for people who want to know. When you want to know, you'll go on there, you'll sift through the BS, and you will find what you're looking for. And what you're looking for is what you're always looking for. It was your own strength.
Yourself.
It was yourself. It was your own strength. It was your own understanding. It was the clarity. It was the cleaning out of your upstairs. You cleaned the loft out. Okay? You actually built your own temple and you store things of value in it because that's what they were used for.
Restored your confidence.
That's right. You stored things of value in temples.
Yeah.
They loaded them up with baubles and trinkets because that's where they kept this, and that's what you should be doing. Loading them up with things of value. And then you could enter conversations, and you can enter conversations on a level that allows you to enter. That you can try and bring them along. Yeah. Okay, you're going to be a shepherd as well, but you're not trying to make sheep. You're trying to make leaders, elders.
Yeah,
that's what we want. Not lead us,
no,
but I lead. All right, dogs got leads, but we don't want to create dogs either. No.
Oh, talking about dogs, Mark Twain said, "It's not the size of the dog in the fight; it's the size of the fight in the dog."
Exactly. It's not how many times you get knocked down; it's how many times you get back bloody up, isn't it?
Yeah.
This system wants to punch you down. This is round after round after round. But get back up. Accept you were wrong. Accept you lost. Then learn what it is that you didn't know, so you lost. Yeah? Win or learn. That's the only two choices.
Yeah.
You can lose if you want to, but win or learn. Winning doesn't teach you anything. It teaches you how to beat that foe.
Yeah.
It doesn't teach you how to beat the next one.
No.
Everybody you meet is different. Diversity. All right? Diverse. All right? You've got to get down and find what it is to find. You've got to go down and find, and we're all different. She makes us different. She makes us uniquely different. Whoever Mother Nature is, she must exist because she never makes two the same. She gives you a unique fingerprint, a unique iris scan, and a unique DNA match. And all those three will never be repeated in one person. That's a hell of a system, isn't it?
It is,
I mean, that's a system of numbering that they can't manage. I mean, they're having the best. Look at the barcodes they have to use to do that. She did it in 3. Yeah. It's always a trinity, isn't it?
Yes.
It's always a holy trinity.
Yeah.
We used to be born 1, but now we're born 3. That's what holy trinity means. Born 3, by the way. It is. It's always 3s. Always has been 3s. Always bloody will be 3s. What else we got? We can do these doom and gloom headlines. I mean, the top 5 regrets of the dying. I think we all know what they are.
Yeah,
you wish you lived life differently.
Lived
but it's too late, then, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It's too bloody late. I mean, your life's for living now.
It is. So live it. Yeah.
It is. I mean, we can't find people to talk to in enough numbers.
Yeah.
Which is why we do this.
Live and live the same word.
I'm looking at the numbers that are listening tonight, and I'll look at the numbers that are listening on Blog Talk. It's about time we got interactive, and the Blog Talk link does allow people to come through to us on Skype. It does allow people to come through using Skype on the Blog Talk link, so we'll try and promote that a little bit over the weeks. And the YouTube video that this will actually appear on YouTube tomorrow in the form of a video We'll have your Facebook, my Facebook, Phil, our wonderful VT editor, his Facebook will be there. And what we will do this time is we'll put my Skype contact on there. All right, now I'm not going to take calls from people who haven't, or, you know, who just try and Skype me who I haven't befriended. If you want to come and talk to me on the radio, and Andy, you're very, very welcome. But I'm going to put the Skype contact below the YouTube video. Make friends with me first, and let's say hello, okay? Because I know there'll be some people out there, once I give my Skype name out, they'll try and ring in and ruin the show. Some people just want to do that because they think it's funny.
Yeah.
They've had a little bit too much to drink, and I'm saying things they don't like. I'm hoping to avoid that. All right? So, if you haven't made friends with me first, I won't take your call, okay? So it'd be nice. It would be nice to get some views on the show, a little bit interactive. I don't think I can answer your questions, but I can help with finding what the answer may be. And that's all we can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like it could be this. But never stick your flag in, because otherwise you'll defend your flag. Never stick your flag in a belief, because belief has got the word belie in it.
Belie in it.
And beliefs have killed millions of people over years.
They have, yeah.
You know, if you're
going to war on beliefs.
Yeah, if you're going to carry it around with you, make sure that your flag's movable. And, you know, you say to yourself, at this moment in time, this appears to me to be how it is. And then somebody can say, you're missing a bit. And then they give you it. And you say, well, that's just changed it.
Yeah.
Say thanks very much. And remember now that...
and that's cost you nothing either. It's these bits that don't cost you any money.
The only...
this is the only trade the real trade we have, isn't it? The trade of information.
It is.
And whether it be right or wrong, like you said, you take it on board, you put it in a jar, keep it in a place, because you might need it.
We
do
throw stuff away that we shouldn't.
In the future,
we do throw stuff away that we shouldn't. And I think one of the best strap lines that I can remember is the only people you need to get even with is those that have helped you.
Yeah.
That's who you need to get even with. Right, our time, we actually edit this into about an hour, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, the Facebook contacts, please make friends with us. My Skype contact will be on there. Please make friends with us. We can use the Blog Talk link to go through Skype, and you come up on the Blog Talk board here. So we can take you through there as well.
Yeah.
Let's get a little bit of interactive going. There is a little bit of time before the shows. We're broadcasting from 9 PM on Blog Talk, but I can go live a little bit earlier on Awake. So we could start the show a little bit earlier. I have to check with Steve. I may be speaking out of turn here.
Right.
But it may well be we can take the Awake stream a little bit earlier, and let's try and get a little bit of interaction going.
Right, yeah.
If people
Sounds
want
good.
to.
Yeah.
But we can do that. I mean, we can talk to you all day, but I'd love it if you talk back. I don't learn when I'm talking. I learn when I'm listening to things of value. That's what matters to me. Listening to things of value. And that's what should matter to all of us.
It should.
Another Tuesday, my friend.
It is.
One more song, and we'll say goodnight.
Okay.
It is a very big thank you then to everybody for listening. We do appreciate your company and your comments, and we've been listening to them all the way through. It's good night from me. We'll be back next Tuesday.
Good night from me.